Hi guys, and in this video we are going to talk about startups, bitcoins, different kinds of incentives available on the market. Especially in Dubai, we'll meet a great guy here who will tell you about tips how to present your startup, how to pitch, and what are the core mistakes startups do at the market. And now we are next to the Palace Hotel, close to Dubai Mall. This is a super nice place. I love it because it's quite quiet and not very touristic, even though quite a few tourists come here. And obviously a great photo spot. So from my side, I just wanted to tell you that there are obviously few things that you always can fix with your startup, with how can you improve your pitching, how you can improve your projects, and basically how you can implement all the strategies that people share with you. I've been to so many places where startups are pitching when they prepare the project, and I see numerous mistakes. Starting from the business plan, they do not talk about anything that is necessary. They just try to present something like 15 slides presentation, and it doesn't work out for them. Also, everyone is hoping like for startups to bring result immediately. It does not happen. I mean, it's not something that you can expect, right? There are quite a few things the startup actually do wrong. Let's say, first thing is when you are trying to pitch, let's say, a venture capital company, why do you think you can approach just anyone? You know that there are different stages of investing, like seed cap, A series, B series, C, and etc. And there are different amounts of investment that can be invested actually in your business. And the problem is that you are trying to approach just anyone, any VC company, any investor with your project. You don't even know in which series actually investor does invest or which projects they do invest. So basically there are many things that actually you do wrong, or you're trying to approach different accelerators that actually do not do what you do. For example, today we are going to meet in this video the person who's in charge of aviation and tourism, but obviously the startup hub does not involve anything else. So if you approach the startup and they say no, and you're like dejected, oh, what happened and why did it go wrong? And in the end, you don't even know what was the reason for them to reject you, but you didn't do the background check, okay? So if you want to really raise funds, follow the tips and follow the things that we share in this video, and I hope it will bring you great results. We have arrived to the meeting. This is a cool place. I'll just show you around a little bit. All the spots that are here, the Emirates Hub, Startup Hub, and many other spots. Today we're here with Damu, who is an expert in blockchain, and I hope this interview will be super useful to you guys, to everyone who wants to implement blockchain in business, and many other tips, and for startups as well. So please tell us about yourself and your book. Sure.
First of all, my name is Damu Winston. I am the author of I Don't Trust You, but Blockchain and Bitcoin Will Help. This is the book here. I'm also a serial entrepreneur and investor in the region. I primarily focus on the aviation space with Interlock, which is Emirates Airlines Accelerator Program, part of something called Area 2071 as a mentor, which is Dubai's 100-year strategy on innovation, something called Startup Bootcamp, one of the mentors there, and several other startup initiatives in the region. So I'm highly involved and connected to that space.
That sounds great. Actually, if you could tell us a little bit about your book,
sure.
What is actually like core 3 tips and takeaways from the book?
I would say the number one thing is the future is here. We're already in the future, and I truly believe that one of the biggest things that blockchain provides us is what we call the infrastructure of trust. And so, as I talk about in the book, infrastructure technology is commonly things that we don't talk about, right? Like the example I give in the book, for example, is have you ever made a phone call before? What about a Skype call?
Obviously.
What about an SMS or a BlackBerry or tweet?
Of course.
But do you have any idea how any of that technology works?
At all,
right? And so what if I told you that, the technology that underpins all this stuff was blockchain? Okay. Would you believe it?
No.
Would you even know, right? That's the point I'm making, right? And so that's kind of what blockchain is. It's this infrastructure technology that enables you the ability for some things, like to transfer value, like cryptocurrency, or to store medical records and transfer medical records, or to even be kind of a tool that allows you to travel between countries, right? It's the infrastructure technology that multiple parties coming together can trust. So it's eliminating trust from human intervention to trust in a system.
You're a startup mentor at the startup hub here called Interlock.
Yes.
And what are the 3 top core mistakes startups do here, like when they're trying to enter the market?
Yeah, that's I think a really good question that I think it's beyond just Interlock, right?
Of course.
And so Interlock, for those who don't know about it, it's Emirates Airline, Danata Travel, GE, and Dubai Tourism's pretty much incubation and acceleration program initiative. And so, I focus on pitching and emerging technologies, obviously, right? And so when it comes to lessons learned, I would say that most startups have a vision, right?
Sure.
Everyone says, I want to, a lot of times the vision is so grand and big that they forget about how to execute today. And so I think it's amazing. It's a great idea to see that you're going to take over the world, but I think it's more important to say, how can I focus on one thing, just that one thing, and execute and deliver on that one thing. Yeah. So, but still have the vision. The second thing I would say for every startup you need to have is a sense of purpose. Why are we doing this? If you clearly understand your why, that's when it's going to help you get up in the morning. Because as an entrepreneur, one of the biggest challenges that you will face is there are times where you have incredible highs and incredible lows. And if you don't have a compass or a guiding thing that motivates you every morning to get up and want to do X, Y, and Z, you'll fail, right? Because there are going to be times where you're going to be at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, and you're going to think, I can't even get any lower. So if you don't have that sense of purpose, I have to do this, you'll give up. And the third thing I think is the most important, which is probably just as important as the first two things, is a team. Find a team that believes in the idea, whatever that idea is, you're destined to fail, right? So I'd rather have a phenomenal team over a phenomenal idea. So my idea could be, amazing, but the team behind it is shit, excuse my language.
And cannot be executed at all.
That's right.
That's true.
So if I have a crappy idea, but I have an amazing team, the team will come together and collaborate and help make that idea so much stronger and better.
That's
right?
so true.
Yeah, so it's all about the team. Just like, you're very fortunate enough to have the team that's joined you here today, and I'm very fortunate enough to hopefully build a team with you, right? And so by us collaborating together, hopefully we can do something amazing.
That's so true. By the way, guys, I've seen those startups pitching, and he does a great job. Seriously, just amazing. I've been to so many startups pitching, also in Poland and in other regions.
Yes.
And here I was just amazed. I was complimenting all the time, they're doing a super cool job here, and he's really great in what he's doing. You are presenting the art of storytelling, right? And what is let's say, one core mistake all the start? I mean, there are plenty of mistakes, but something core that everyone does, like they cannot pitch why. What's the reason?
Because they don't know their story.
No story behind it.
They have no story. A lot of times it's academic. Here's my team slide. Here's my business model slide. Here's my problem, and then here's my, market size, right? That doesn't create an emotional connection with anyone. And as long as I'm a human being, I want to have an emotional connection with you. I want to connect emotionally, Whereas if I'm just like a robot, right? People don't, in my humble opinion, people don't, want to interact with a robot. Like, I give you a really good example. If you could choose between a chatbot and a person chatting with you, which one would you choose today?
Well, probably person.
Well, yeah, because you would assume the person's going to be able to kind of get you and understand where you're coming from. Whereas the bot today is going to say X, Y, and Z, and the response is either yes or no, right? Or very limited in its ability to comprehend complex ideas. And so human beings, we actually appreciate stories that we can connect to, that we can relate to. Whereas a pitch that is very robotic will be very limiting and not what we want to connect with.
True.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I guess they are trying to make those bots more
intuitive. Yes.
I guess
Smarter,
and it doesn't seem to be a robot from the first scratch you see it, and you are kind of wondering, is it a person or is it a robot?
Honestly, that's intentional, right? That's the future that we're moving towards, that we won't really know the difference, right? But I'm just saying, in general, if we can take that same example, would you rather chat on a bot, or would you rather have a conversation with a real person? Some people I actually prefer chatting on a bot because it eliminates the whole
Human factor.
Human factor, right? And I think that's part of the challenge that we face with how do you word this? What we face with society is that as we shift more and more to just using our devices, we are starting to lose the human factor. But right now, when it comes to investing, investors typically invest into people they can build a relationship with, right? That they can trust, right? That's today. Maybe in the future we're having platforms where it's communication based, like your devices, and that's how you receive investments. But today, the vast majority of investments is done through that.
For sure, person to person. And it's also changing. What I've seen is like, it's not business to business anymore.
Yeah.
People are working with people. You can see all this trend in social media everywhere. It's like much more personal than before.
Absolutely.
Like if you're choosing a company, you want to know who is standing behind it.
Absolutely.
Like if you choose Tesla or Cybertruck, you know that it's Elon Musk. Elon Musk, and you want to buy from him because you know how great idea and vision he has, right? So
I totally agree. No, I mean, I think that's very important. I mean, again, we currently trust people, let me back up. I feel like most investors will oftentimes make an investment, not necessarily because of the numbers, but first because of I trust the person. And so I used to work in private equity, and one of the biggest things, the determining factor on if we were to make an investment or not, was not the business model, was not the financial model, none of that. It was really, do we believe that this entrepreneur or a team of entrepreneurs is going to make it happen? And I think that's where where it matters.
And that's the another thing that startups actually forget about when they are pitching. It's about story, also about their team. Not just saying it's John and John is a great programmer or someone else. Like story behind those people and what are they driven by and many other things. So that's actually true.
I tell this to all the startups I work with. When you're doing a pitch, don't tell me, here's John. John is a great developer. He's worked 12 years doing Blase Skip, and John likes blah, 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 blah. I don't care about any of that. Find an interesting fact. So an interesting fact may be, John, who I met 4 years ago through saving a cat. Something that unique
something
about
different.
It. Right,
so that people would remember you.
Yes, absolutely. Be remembered, Not another number. Be remembered, And so when you can personalize it, people are like, oh, so that's how you met John. Yeah, and along the way when we met this cat, for example, I saw that John was passionate about, vision technology because he wanted to understand the eye color of the cats. I don't know, I just made that up, right? But that showed the level of passion for this particular John scenario that he likes vision technology. So I'll remember that. Yeah.
Oh,
and you will too.
For sure.
I
mean, it makes the story totally different from what startup is trying to pitch in general. Trying to put everything. If they have 4 to 10 minutes to do the pitch, they're trying to put everything, but they have to do only few stuff just for people to remember them, and that's it. And that's the biggest problem for them, I guess.
Yeah, and let's talk about that real quick. So, I've met so many founders say, I don't have enough time in the pitch, and that the pitch is only 10 minutes long. It's only 10 minutes long.
Sure.
That's a mistake if you're thinking it's only 10 minutes long. If you can't convince me of your idea in a matter in 3 minutes to 5 minutes, then you don't know your business well enough. You don't have a good product, most likely, right? Talking about the details of how the business operates is for a later discussion. For pitching, it's about convincing you or having you want to join my movement or be a part of what I'm doing. And that should be done in either 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. Anything more than that, you're overthinking it. Yeah?
Because you're starting to talk about things that are not really that important at the moment.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know what's your vision, what actually the benefit of all the people who are going to use the product, what is the benefit to the investors, so probably some numbers put in that or some plans.
Yeah.
But you can, for sure, me as a speaker, I can also confirm.
What I tell people, to all the startups I work with, focus on what I call edutainment. That's education and entertainment married together. that's the harmony of the blend between the entrepreneur and the investor is that edutainment. So the entrepreneur, you need to educate your investor and also entertain them, keep them engaged. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And so if you're sometimes the investor wants to know a little bit about the numbers behind it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they want a little humor, a little laughter, maybe even some sadness in it. But at the end of the day, it's about educating them on information that they don't know, or they may already think, but they just don't really have the evidence behind it, right? And also inspiring them that, hey, we can get it done.
Well, for sure.
Right? And so a pitch, right, is only, it's a tool to get you to something else.
Yeah.
A pitch isn't like, if entrepreneurs make a fatal flaw when they go up there and they say, I'm going to pitch with the goal that at the end of this meeting, at the end of this pitch, I'm going to get $10 million investment. That's not how the world works.
Of course.
No one just says, oh, I pitched, here's my book, blah, 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 and at the end of it, someone's going to give me $10 million.
Yeah.
No, it's steps, right? So if my objective is to seek funding, then that means at the end of the pitch, I should be trying to get a meeting.
Yeah.
With people who are interested in this type of project, or maybe I'm looking for strategic partnerships. So look at, what is your objective for doing the pitch, and set it up so that at the end of it, you have next steps for that.
Exactly.
Not the end goal. The end goal happens over time. No one's, I mean, maybe other startups have experienced this, but I haven't seen this in my 20 plus years in this whole space, that, at the end of a pitch or something like that, someone automatically says, I'm going to give you money. I've never seen that.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't. But if it does, call me, let me know. I would love to meet those investors. I have several startups that you'd be interested in.
Oh yeah, I guess it can happen in some imaginary world.
Yeah.
I guess one of the last questions, if you gotta give one advice to blockchain entrepreneurs, like whatever does with blockchain, is there any specific advice you would give them?
Yeah, I would give them several probably. But the first one is, remember that blockchain is not a Swiss Army knife, meaning it's not a technology that you use for everything. That's the first thing. The second thing is, don't be so married to the idea that I have to use blockchain for this. And the reason I say that is because blockchain is a technology that requires a community to be around it. Mm-hmm. It requires a community to believe in a common truth. If there is not a common truth that the community cares about, then there's no need for blockchain. Yeah. So even in cryptocurrency, the reason why it's so valuable is because so many different people see value in that common truth. The store of value, the transfer of value, right? If those community members didn't care about those common truths, it would not be valuable. And so I think those are the two most important things there. The third one would be, make sure you find a team that believes in the vision, and that that team is able to find strategic partners that all believe in that vision of why we should use blockchain. We see a common truth. That's what it boils down to.
Sure.
Yeah.
So remember, guys, if you're just trying to do blockchain for blockchain, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the last question for today is how to sell your idea. One of your tips, yeah.
It really depends on the audience. Rule number one, know your audience. And so selling my idea to someone who's very technical is different than selling it to someone who's very emotional.
So true. And it's very, very, very good tip, because people do not know who their target audience is.
It is,
at all. They are kind of targeting everyone.
It doesn't work.
In the end,
you'll fail. Yeah, I agree. So, the best piece of advice I would say is, rule number one, know your audience. Rule number two, find a connection. Find what I call an in route, which is, how do I connect with that particular audience? Mm-hmm. That audience is, very data focused. How do I find information that it's important to data focused people? Mm-hmm. If this person is very passionate, how do I convey a story that's very passionate and emotionally charged? Right?
The triggers, right? What drives those people?
We call it a stakeholder mapping exercise. And the idea is to identify who your stakeholders are, your motivators, and if you're talking about technology, the features that may matter to those type of stakeholders.
That sounds great. Okay, guys, and now we are at the end of our. I mean, you seriously should be so thankful for so many tips for startups, how to pitch, how to find some specific audience, and there is a content for those who actually leave the best idea for blockchain business, how you can implement blockchain in your business. We will give you the book I Don't Trust You about the blockchain, and this book will be actually signed personally by Damu. So
Yes.
That's a great present. I mean, seriously, well, it will be sent from here, from Dubai. So we'll be hoping, like, for you guys to do massive commenting, and we'll choose one best idea. Towers, where actually the future happens. Besides all possible hubs, accelerators for startups, for youth, and many other things, actually this is where you can find what will happen to the human being, and that's actually super cool. Like synthetic bodies, 3D printing of different organs, and just for me, it's amazing. I'm stuck, and many other things. So if you are ever here, this is the place to be and to visit for sure. And here, as promised, is a shout out for the best comment on the previous video to Mohammed Rakib. And of course, do not forget to hit the button to subscribe and to put a reminder so that you will see all new videos in this channel. See ya!